Okay, guys, so welcome to everybody and thanks for being connected to POLI.design Digital Open Days. This is the last today's session and we are going to talk about the specializing master in lighting design with Professor Andrea Siniscalco. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you for having me and welcome everyone. Um, I will present briefly some of the topics that are discussed inside of the master. Obviously, there will be no time of being very extensive on the topic because also light is a very broad topic, a very transversal topic. And so let's just say that we will get a little bit of the flavor of the master. So what we are trying to do with our master is to train professionals to put students in the condition of enter in the world of work as fast as possible. People that follows and attend the master generally go and work inside of manufacturers, inside of professional studio and brands, and maybe also other transversal reality such as measuring lab or theaters or other reality like that. There are many modules inside of the master. There are 10 modules plus an additional module that is the internship. The 10th module are structured in fundamentals, so the bones of the subject, and also project works that are led by professionals of the field. And then, after finishing all these models, the students are requested to engage in an internship that can be done again in a professional reality, a studio or a manufacturer. And these also put them already in the world of work. So they develop competences, they learn how to apply what they have learned during the master, and also they start building a network of contact with the manufacturers and other reality. Beg your pardon, but I'm not I'm kind of sick.
No problem.
So, why choosing the master in lighting design? So, there are many things that are taught inside of the master. First of all, you will learn that light is not just a beautiful mean to express creativity and communication, but it's also a physical reality, a physical quantity that can be measured and evaluated and calculated. So you will learn how to measure light, how to interact, how to predict with calculations, how to deal with light. You will learn what are the primary skills requested to the lighting designer. So what you have to do in order to do this profession. And generally, all the didactic contribute to put the students in the position of expressing their creativity, because it's not one of the most easy misunderstanding that can happen when people decide to apply to a lighting design master is that they just think that do lighting is painting with light. So use light and color to express beautiful scenarios and beautiful environments, which is true. But it is not creativity itself that is the aim. It's to give them the tools to express their creativity, to put them in the position of expressing their creativity. Light itself is an incredible tool to designers, an element, a product, a space, whatever, changes completely when it comes to lighting. It's not just that you design light to be able to see the thing, but you can also give value. You can create something peculiar to give a new interpretation on a space with the use of light. So you can do much more than just put students to just put people in the condition of seeing. And this is the difference of the modern concept of lighting design compared to the original engineering one. So it's not just to give the right amount of light and the right control of glare. Not that these things are not important, but it's not just that. It's much more than that, especially today with new technologies. When it comes to light, it's very precious. You have the experience of light during the day. Generally, light is something that is so common that generally tends to be underestimated by people, not considered and taken for granted. But if you think to a building such as we have here a picture of Buckingham Palace, if you think to this space during the day and how it is illuminated during the night, it's not that the designer tried to recreate the perception of the building during the day. It just gave another meaning. So when you use light, there is a nice quote by Tadao Ando. Primarily, it is light which brings material to life and gives architecture its form. A single beam of light allows for a surface to express itself and creates shadows behind the objects. Because being able to work with light means also being able to work with shadow. Because having only light without shadows, I know that it sounds philosophical, but it's true. It's to losing the perception of shape. So the right amount, the right balance between light and shadow also is important to do lighting design. And how we do that? Well, if we are able to interact with buildings to a certain extent, we can do it also with natural light. But generally, when you do it in interior, you do it with artificial. So artificial lighting is absolutely important and fundamental nowadays. If you think without artificial lighting, how the world was, and nowadays is completely different because it can extend the duration of our day. Even if some of us maybe they would love to sleep a little bit more, but it's undeniable that artificial light contributed to the evolution of our society in the terms of the actual society, and it can create a welcoming feeling if you are running into a place that is correctly illuminated and correctly perceived by the users. It can improve your welcome feeling. You feel that you're entering into a warm and cozy place. And in the case of area or in exterior, for instance, parks, alleys, and streets, it is undeniable that light also contributes to the sense of safety when it comes to public areas and urban environment. Um, so, uh, what is today? What are mainly today some of the most important topics when it comes to lighting design? Well, first of all, the better photometric performance. This is something that never stops. We try to improve the quality of the products. We try to improve the quality of the lighting in space to have a better approach to lighting. So in order uh, to achieve what is considered as good lighting practice. So to give the right amount of light without being harmful to people. To improve the energy efficiency, because nowadays with technology, we can also achieve energy saving. So we can turn off lights when they're not needed. That might sound uh, very basic as a statement, but it is not. Just turning on and off the switch is not enough anymore, especially on a huge scale when it comes to work environments, when it comes to big spaces. And also you can improve the user performance, the user experience of a space. You can create visual comfort. You can incite well-being in human beings while they are carrying out their tasks. Um, Speaking about visual comfort and energy saving, um, Today, we achieve this a lot with the so-called intelligent lighting system. I mean, it sounds like a old school wording. We're still sticking with the smart concept. So, in an intelligent lighting system is something that can do more than just turning on and off. What are the main things that an intelligent lighting system can do? It can help to harvest the daylight. We can help to track occupancy patterns inside of a space. We can improve the lifespan of of a lighting system. We can reduce the amount of maintenance of a lighting system, and also we can achieve always better performance, always more custom, tailored solutions by making full use of controls. First of all, when it comes to daylight is something that we evolve on the daylight. It's not just that because we discovered artificial lighting some time ago, we can forget that we are coming from millions of years of evolution. So daylight is fundamental for us, even in places in which apparently there is no daylight. So trying to use daylight in the today project is very important. And being able to mix artificial lighting and daylight is also an aim, something that is very desirable today. So whenever is possible, you must be able to use daylight. It doesn't mean that you have to pick the daylight somehow and bring it inside. Well, generally, this is something that is already inside of the building. If you have windows, you have daylight. But to use it proficiently is something that is just more than being able to turn on and off the light because there is daylight. Also, the possibility of changing the color, the amount of light is something that up to some year ago has been always looked like I want to create a fancy and very nice environment by changing the color, by coloring a space and giving an aspect of festivity or a situation in which I have something that is out of the normal situation. But actually, by controlling a light scenario, one of the first thing that you might achieve is actually energy saving by dimming on and off. And by dimming, I mean increasing the amount of light and reducing the amount of light when it's not needed or when it's needed. Um, so what are the lighting controls? I say we can make full use of lighting control. In order to do that, you need to have an intelligent lighting system. And an intelligent lighting system is something like that one that you can see in the slide. I mean, there is a macrocosmos of devices that are connected together in a lot of our homes today are structured this way. We have a TV that is not a simple TV anymore. Maybe it's a smart TV. Maybe we have a cooling system that is also connected. There are also fridges that are connected. Why not? Lighting, the same. We can connect light to an intelligent lighting system. So it's a series of connected devices that receive inputs and can generate outputs in relation to what you tell them to do. What we tell them to do. First of all, the integration of natural and artificial light. So we can promote the specific use of a space, and we can enhance the appearance of the environment. The integration with artificial light and natural light, I already told you that is really, really important. But the point is that you cannot always rely on natural light because by its own nature, natural light is variable. During the day, you have different colors, you have different intensity, weather also affects season, and many other things that can affect the quality and the quantity of natural light. But even if we cannot control sun, if not with curtains or mechanized systems, we can control the artificial light to react in relation with the natural light. So if I have enough natural light, I can control my artificial lights to adapt to the level that are given by the natural light. So if I do not have in a natural light, I can increase the amount. So I can balance natural and artificial to do. And in order to do that, you need controls, you need electronics, you need a language that allow you to do so. You can also set an environment on how to use it. So if there is a space and this space has a well-known schedule, we know that, for instance, in an office from 8 to 1, it's the office is working, then from 1 to 2 it's closed, and then after 5 p.m. it closes. And so we can set very basically our lighting system to be set on this time schedule. Or, and this happens very frequently nowadays, we can adapt. So if we don't have a specific type of schedule, or it's discontinued, because maybe if some people go in lunch break and other come in, you cannot turn off light, but in that case you can put sensors, so you can sense the occupancy of spaces by um, by having things like sensor or cameras, maybe low resolution camera that can see if there is a person that goes around in the space, but without having to recognize his face for privacy reasons. So you can learn how people move inside of your building and adapt your lighting system according to it, so that lights turn actually on following the path of the people that are inside of the building. And also you can create different lighting scenes. So you can have a type of illumination in the morning, you can have an increased amount of light, you can change the color of light after the lunch break to help people not fall asleep after they eat maybe too much during the lunch break. Or you can incite, you can help them to trying to slow down before going out and not be stressed at the moment that they exit from the office. And also you can enhance the appearance of the place, because why not? I mean, it's not to say that because it's a working environment, it cannot use colors, you cannot use different tones of white. Also because different tones of white and the use of colors can affect the psychological wellness of people. So changing colors can affect psychology. Changing the type of white can affect physiology. So there are many things that can be controlled. The RGB controls allow us to achieve a lot of colors, and also we can switch from cold light to warm light if we need. So it is not said that we just need to see. We can use color. We can integrate with natural light, and we can also use design elements. Why not? Also the iconic luminance from the design golden age can be integrated like that. Manufacturers have a lot of new takes on their product. They are actualized with new technologies, and that include also controls. So light level tuning, so we can change the amount of light. We can integrate daylight. We can sense if somebody is inside a space and adapt lighting in relation to that. Or we can schedule a timed lighting for our space. How can you do that? With controls. In order to use controls, you need control protocols. What are the communication protocols? Well, obviously the luminaires do not speak English, but they don't speak the machine language either. They don't speak directly in 0 and 1. That is the last step. But you need control protocols are basically the language that are used to communicate to the devices. If I have for instance, at home I have many of these smart light bulbs that I can control through a device. That can be Alexa, Siri, or whatever, or Google, or you can just say, turn on the light, and it turns on the light. But it didn't take my language and understood the language because I spoke Italian or English. It is being controlled, and the transmission is being done in a specific control protocols. There are free open control protocols and proprietary control protocols. It's always the dilemma in having a free open control protocol means that a lot of users can interact with this, can write down their code, they can customize and tailor their own solution for their systems. But this gives on a long time, if you use a lot of mods, a lot of plugins, a certain risk of instability of the system. Generally, the open control protocols are from consortiums and associations, and then you have the proprietary control protocols, so that there are companies then tell you, I give you the device, I give you the language of the device, you cannot change it, but I am the responsible for this. So you can do this, this, and this, and nothing. These are more stable, but obviously less flexible than open control protocols. There are a lot of different control protocols. Some are known, some are less known, and they can be wired or wireless. Today, we are always, the more we go, the more we tend to be wireless, because obviously, also when we have battery devices, portable devices, we don't need to have cable. But it is also true that you can have a system that is cable. My home, for instance, my TV is cabled with the Ethernet in the wall. The same is the computer inside of the room. So many physical and actual plugs. But for luminaires, there are some elements that are wired inside of the intelligent luminaires. So the most recent, is not recent anymore because we're talking about something like the 20 years, more than 20 years technology. There are systems such as the DALI system that allow to control the properties of the luminaire. The luminaire just don't have on and off. It can have change color temperature, use time to turn on and off. And this is controlled through electronic power supply that are inside of the luminaire. And as an example, I was telling you, inside of a smart home, you can have many wired elements such as cameras, the TV, the stereo, or other things like that. And then you have the wireless protocols. The wireless protocols are, again, there are some that are more diffused than others. And the truth is that, like also for the wireless protocols, there is no winner yet. There are many, many different competitors, and some people prefer to use one, some people prefer to use others. There is still a lot of jungle in terms of what you want to use. Speaking about controls, we can make a parallel with the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is nowadays is everywhere. A lot of devices are connected to the Internet, starting from our phones, our cars. Everything works connected to the Internet, and we can do a lot of things with the connection to the Internet. And same, it's for the Internet of Light. All the luminaires, all the lighting system, and the devices can be connected through various technology to to the internet and control that. Again, a lot of different competitors, some more common, some unknown, some other more particular, like the Li-Fi, for instance, that uses the actual light to send the signal. So you put your device under the beam of light, and the data is transmitted through light. Um, so basically, with control technology and new devices such as LED technologies, such as control, and everything that is connected, we can do basically whatever we want with light today. And pick this image. You can like it or not, but it gives you the idea of the amount of things that you can control. You can use this type of technology in many different elements, in many different environments, such as offices, such as educational premises, such as retail stores. And you can integrate also light with something more, some like the stocks or the amount of objects that you have inside of your space, and use the light to transmit also information about that. And you can have it inside of cultural heritage, and a lot of purists may say that it's better to use filters and having a more human control on control protocols, which is true, because if you go there with a filter, you can tune up very, can do a very fine tuning on the light. But it is also true that once you have placed all your luminaires on the spot, it can be very difficult for you to intervene during the exhibit, for instance. So if your luminaires can change the amount of light, can change the color of light, it can help you to be more reactive in case there is some necessity. Um, and also inside of the residential area, in which by the principle that everyone can do whatever you want inside his home, there is a very soft standardization when it comes to residential areas. The lighting controls and the electronics technology in lighting are very wild in this field. As you can see, if you just pop up the most common um, online market, I don't want to cite, but everyone knows what I'm talking about. And you search for smart light, and you find a lot of things that can be installed inside of your house that works with this principle.
Thank you, Professor. I'm seeing a lot of questions coming from the audience. The first one, will a student get in touch with companies during the theory and workshop and during the internship?
Absolutely. Yes, the answer is yes, for two reasons. First of all, there would be seminars inside of the didactics that are done by people coming from manufacturers, and some manufacturers will show their approach to the job, just to give you an idea of the different workplaces in which you can have. And also the project works, while the first part is more the one with the fundamentals, in which you have illuminating engineering, daylighting, geography, culture of light, are more academic, more structured. The second part, in which you have the project work, the main teachers are generally professionals. So they are owners of design firms that are about lighting. And so you will talk with companies and with studios. And then when you go into the internship, if you prefer, we will make a double profile, so to find the ideal situation for a student and the ideal situation for a company or a studio, and put them together. So students during the internship will end up in working into a studio or into a manufacturer.
Okay. The second question is about relation between lighting and the space of healthcare. For example, hospitals. There is a huge work to be done, maybe in this kind of.
Yes, it's I cannot say right now that we have a module about healthcare because we add it sometimes, but we change every year, and I still don't know if in the next edition will be a module on healthcare. I don't think, because from the names that I saw, the module of interior will not be on healthcare for sure. Some of the principles that you will see inside of the master are the one that are on the base of healthcare. So uh, the physiological influence that light has on human beings, the controls of circadian rhythms, the regulation of hormones such as melatonin and cortisol, and other aspects will be seen inside of it. So the physiological part of lighting is absolutely something that we will go through.
Okay. Is there a part of the classes dedicated also to the appliance design, let's say linked to the product design, or just about lighting system?
Unfortunately. Not because we will not talk about luminance. We will absolutely talk about luminance. You cannot do lighting without speaking about luminance. But a right amount of competences about product for lighting would request a master itself. So a master in product design for luminaires. There are many aspects, and it's not just designing a luminaire is not doing just the shaping of the luminaire. So putting a nice optic system and a nice shape. It also have electronics, controls, materials, um, thermal dissipation, classifications. So there is a lot of topics that are too much to be treated inside of the master. We tried in previous editions to implement a project works um, about products, but the problem is that you don't go in deep enough, and we felt that trying with a small amount of hours, because the truth is that you can, if you do a model, you cannot use more than 40 hours. It's too little
Sure.
for speaking about designing a product.
Okay. Another question is about how do you deal the relation between color and light in your master?
Mhm. Well, light and color. First of all, whatever you consider to be color is actually part of the lighting discipline. So if you see it, it's part of the lighting discipline. We can we speak about color when it comes to things like the chromaticity diagram of the CIE. So we speak about how we can position a certain type of light inside of these methods of classifying the colors. We can speak about the color rendering. We speak about the color rendering indexes. So like the CRI, like the PM30 American, and how these are used inside of the world of lighting. But again, color itself used as a subject is something that goes above just the light. It's also pigments. It's also textiles, communication. So we speak about color concerning light. So the process of vision, what is color from the point of view of vision? Uh, don't want to spoiler about the perception of color that is psychological and not actual. And but yes, we speak about color, but from the light point of view, from the perception point of view, not from the picking one color instead of another in order to. So we can see how colors affect human beings when it comes to physiology, but not how to decide if use a blue instead of a red to illuminate a space.
Sure. Now, a practical question. When is going to start the next edition of the master, and how many editions do you have each year?
We have an edition that's starting in November. We still don't know if we will do a second edition during 2024. Probably we will do it one this year because by moving it so far, we won't be able. We also, when we design the time schedule of the master, we must keep in consideration also of the events that are orbit around the world of lighting, such as such as fairs and other events that can be an opportunity for students to enter in touch with companies and enter in the actual world of work, because preparing your company, working together with a company during the period of design week or the light and building in Frankfurt or other events like that, it's important, but it requires a little bit of attention on our side, not to be too early or too late.
Sure.
So right now we are starting in November. But I don't know if there will be an immediate another edition after 6 months like we did in the last 2 or 3,
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
Okay. I think it's all. And I invite, there is a question, please.
Thank you. Because with age, I'm getting that.
No, some example of a workshop that you did in the past, maybe?
Some example, yeah. Light design for retail spaces, for urban environment, cultural heritage,
Okay.
like for entertainment, such as like, this is part of the actual didactic, this is front lectures, CAD and BIM, so the use of lighting design software, and BIM instead intended as building information modeling, because building information modeling is something that is exploding right now, is something that the more we go on and on, the more is becoming mandatory for public field, for instance. And the problem is that the integration of lighting inside of these tools, such as the software used inside of these methods, are not very linear. So we will see how to design lighting into a software, how to make these integration inside of the BIM softwares. And this is a part of the master that we are doing. So I say retail, I say urban environment, cultural heritage, hospitality. And with hospitality, I means everything that can host people, and not just hotels, but also cruise ships or hostels, hospitals, things like that.
Okay, so I want to thank Professor Siniscalco, and I invite the audience for any other question to check the website on Specializing Master Lighting Design. You will find there all the information about how to apply. We will see on the next July 6th for the last session of Digital Open Day delivered by POLI.design. Thank you.